Good afternoon. I am Mokurai, monk of Silent Thunder Temple and Tai Chi instructor here at Stone Age Climbing Gym. In the first class last week we did the beginning movements. Today we will proceed to movements further along in the form. We'll get to that right now. It'll be in complete silence. I'll explain things later. And we will also have some applications, martial art applications later. As you recall, if you saw the video last week, this is the Yang style modified with elements of Aikido and today especially Jiu-Jitsu. Here we go. Second part of the form. Taking up where we left off last week. It's said that architecture is frozen music. It's said that Tai Chi could be called poetry in motion. With that in mind, I would like to tie together Tai Chi with poetry, now with a poem. If I could get Mr. Landis to join me. This poem will bring out some very important themes, crucial to the serious Tai Chi practitioner. This poem is called The 3-Word Answer to All Questions. How could every profound question dealing with the human condition be answered by the same 3 words? Let us proceed. Why was I born? Old age leaves me worn. Lost youth should I mourn? I am here. Where am I going? What is there worth knowing? What seeds am I sowing? I am here. Why is there pain? What more can I gain? Am I truly sane? I am here. Am I being misled? What happens when I'm dead? Can't I live instead? I am here. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I am here. If we truly become present in all that we do, especially an intensive exercise like Tai Chi, if we become entirely present, I am here, then we become inwardly quiet. When we become inwardly quiet, then answers to questions we have not consciously asked will come to us unasked. So in essence, the 3 words can be diminished. Why is it that the questions, the answers can all be diminished? Why is that, Mr. Landis?
The question is irrelevant. Meditation is the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Landis. With that in mind, we can proceed to another poem, which will be in the form of a riddle. And we will pose a question, because we're probably not at the level yet where our internal quietude is so profound that all questions are answered. So sometimes we can use the intellect to produce a state of quiet. This poem is called A Star is Born. The poem itself is a riddle, which will be answered with the very last word of the poem. Perhaps you can anticipate what that last word will be, but I warn you, you'll have to be fairly advanced to anticipate what the last word will be, even though it'll be a rhyme. Here we go. A star is born. 'Tis I who make both camel and catapult. 'Tis I who make from my clay both clan and cult. The gaping canyon, the scraping coral, the monkeyed banyan, and all things floral. I made the sun, I made the moon. I granted you the gun. I doomed you to the goon. Dreamed I the dragonfly. Breathed I the buttercup, and all things from which to sup. 'Tis I who gives you both what you would and would not acquire. But I am not God, rather I am desire. The solution to every problem is that there is no problem. Tai Chi brings about an end to conflict, both internal and external. When there is no conflict, we see the world in an entirely different way. Things that were important to us now are no longer even in our consciousness. There's an old story, perhaps you've heard it, of the Spanish when they went to South America, Peru, and they had their first encounter with the Incas several hundred years ago. Through translators, they were able to communicate with the Incas on the shores of Peru, and the Incas were astonished that so many strange-looking people had arrived on their shores, and they asked how they got there. And the Spanish were a little bit amused at the question because their large ships were moored out in the bay. And they said, well, we got here by those sailing ships out there. And the Incas looked out into the bay, and they said, what ships? What are you talking about? We have no idea what you're talking about. No, tell us the truth. How did you really get here? They could not see the ships because it was not in their belief system. To them, a large boat was perhaps a tenth the size of the sailing vessels that the Spanish had used to travel those many thousands of miles. But the Incas could not even conceive. It wasn't in their ability to assimilate the visual information. So they were not able to see it. That might sound like ignorance, but actually it's just evidence that the world is our mirror. And so if we clean our mirror, then the world is not populated as it is when our minds are filled with desire. So what happens to the world when we let go of desires? Well, the world gets replaced with something far, far better. It's said that when a Taoist master dies, he becomes a star in the heavens. A star, those millions and billions and trillions of stars, according to Taoist theory, are the minds of very evolved beings. So when we lessen our desires, the world is replaced with a spiritual light. It's glorious. I highly recommend it. And now to continue with details of the segment of the form we just did. Details now and applications of it. So we started with a push. Thank you, Mr. Lenz. Then we shift back, turn the toe, move to what's called heaven and earth position, pivot on the right heel. This is called a cat stance. Then I shift to a front stance. This is called rainbow left. Shift the weight forward, and the hand describes gracefully an arcing rainbow. Shift the weight back, form the heaven and earth position with the other hand high. And then as we shift forward, we do the rainbow right. Feet come together. This is called fist under the elbow with a check kick. Chi ball on the right hip. Reach forward right, step back right. This is called repulse monkey. Shifting to cat stance. Palms up. So carefully putting the foot down. Repulse monkey number 2. Shifting to cat stance. And repulse monkey number 3. Heaven and earth position. This next move is called Swan Soars High. Back to heaven and earth. This is called slant flying. And this next move is called dragon swoops down. A chi ball. Play guitar, pull, chi ball, a repetition of what we did earlier. White crane spreads wings, brush knee and push. This is called the pine needle at the C bottom. The hand comes up with the knee and then down. Very carefully putting the foot down. This is called push through mountain. And close. Okay, let's look at some of the applications for some of those moves. Let's look at the Swan soars high first. Mr. Landis, please. If you'll stand here. And this is this motion. We are like this, and then here, here, and here. How can we apply that to Mr. Landis's threatening movements? Slowly, second punch. It's going to be. So I move to the side, get behind him, little jiu-jitsu motion, and choke him, attacking the carotid artery and the throat. A little faster. So I move to the side, block, and slide off the block to the choke. This is the Swan Soaring high. I bring my left hand high and push his head deeper into my trap. Then I lock it up by bringing my hand like this. That creates more pressure. And push. Slowly again. So I lock. Get behind him here. Push his head deep into my crook of my arm. My right hand here will come inside. Now I've got it nice and tight. Finish with right knee on the floor. Thank you. And full speed. Okay, next one. Let's look at this move and these. Repulse monkeys. They're called repulse monkeys. Mr. Landis, if you stand here, please. And I just, you'll step and punch with the right hand. We're going to push down like that and then trap it like that. So I've got a chi ball, and the chi ball turns into be a grab and palm strike. So I grabbed him here. Now I'm going to pull and deliver a palm strike here. After I've struck this person, I can let go with my right hand and strike another person behind with the bow wrist. Slowly. Another person back there could be struck. And faster. Okay, good. Thank you. And one more. There's another element that looks like this. Early on in the form, we have boat floats down river, this kind of motion. And you can use your elbows and forearms there in the following way. That's good. And it will be, okay. So he's going to step and punch. Okay, good. Step and punch. Great. So there's a forearm smash with a block here. There's your boat floats down river. It'll be blocking and forearm smash. Now here, I'm going to rotate the chi ball. Rotate the chi ball. I'm going to take his arm here and slide it like that across his own shoulder blades. When I do that, it'll control the rest of his body. So I'm here like this. I'm going to step back and then rotate the chi ball. Okay? And half speed. And full speed. And thank you, Mr. Now I'll quickly go through that part of the form with the breath control so you know when to breathe in and when to breathe out. I'll breathe real loudly. Now we're going to do something that we frequently do in Tai Chi class that we did not get to last week. It's called Qi Gong. Mr. Anderson, you join me, please. Tai Chi is part of a larger system of spiritual discipline called Qi Gong. Qi Gong is designed to exclusively cultivate a person's spiritual energy, internal energy, primarily in what's called the lower Tan Tien, and the heart chakra, and the third eye, or the upper Tan Tien, and then the top of the head, the crown chakra. Tai Chi is said to transform a person's natural energy into Qi, and Qi, that happens in the lower Tan Tien. And the Qi gets changed into spiritual energy, that happens in the third eye. And then spiritual energy gets changed into God consciousness, that happens in the top of the head, the crown chakra. So we'll do some Qigong exercises now to help enhance and speed up that process of changing natural energy into God realization. And we can sit down. The hands begin here. It's called the lower Tan Tien. You can do it with me, please. As we inhale, the right hand gently moves up like this. When we breathe, we want to fill up the lower stomach first, then the upper chest. So we bring energy to the third eye and stimulate the right brain. Pause here. We still have more room to inhale, and then we continue to inhale as we drop the hand down to the heart chakra. Then we form a chi ball, and as we exhale, rotate the chi ball. Inhale and rotate it back. Exhale as we bring the right hand or the upper hand circling down to the lower hand. Then we do it with the other hand, inhaling. Stimulating the left brain. Continue to inhale as we drop energy down, awareness down to the heart chakra. Hold breath, form a chi ball, and then rotate the chi ball as we exhale. Inhale as you rotate it back. Hold breath, and exhale as the upper hand circles down to the lower hand. When we bring energy from the third eye down to the heart chakra, the third eye is the governor of the body. It regulates what we should or shouldn't do, what is a good thing to do or not do, with regards to the emotions. So the mind is the governor, and emotions are the fuel, and the fuel has to be well regulated by an intelligent and wise and spiritual governor. So after we did the stimulation of the right brain and left brain, now we'll do both concomitantly, inhaling. Hold breath, inhale more. And now elbows up, exhaling. As our sphere of influence extends out beyond our person, our body, and extends out into what we normally call the external universe. And one last motion, it will be inhale, eyeballs should go up. Inhale to the crown chakra now. Now the crown chakra is well prepared to receive energy, and we can approach God realization. Inhale, and then exhale a straight line down. This is called bone marrow washing. Energy penetrates, heals, spiritualizes, even to the marrow of the bone. Bone marrow washing. Okay, let's try that together. You have to make sure that you breathe at your capability. It might be faster or slower than someone else, but you have to challenge yourself, not too strenuously, but you want to breathe slowly. So we have inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, other hand, inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale, the hands are very gentle. Inhale, upturned eyeballs. Exhale. A simple Qigong exercise, wonderful to do, so much joy, so much insight, so much mysticism understood as a result of frequent practice. Not just a short amount of time like that, but more extended amounts of time. Before we spoke of Tai Chi as perhaps aptly called poetry in motion. Tai Chi could also be called music in motion. Since the goal of Tai Chi is the end of suffering, we should put away all stops to that endeavor to cultivate spiritual energy. And sound is intimately connected with movement. Dancers know this. Everybody knows this. Sound and movement go together. Remember, architecture is frozen music. And Tai Chi could be said to be moving architecture. And music in motion. So, music is very important. With that in mind, we can proceed to our final exercise for the day, which will be chanting. Chanting in a language that originated in Sanskrit in India, and then it got changed a little bit when it went to China, got changed a little bit more when it went to Japan. But you can see the root words come from Sanskrit. Just like in Sanskrit, the word for meditation is jhana. When that word got to China, it was changed to chana. When that word got to Japan, it was changed to Zen. It still means the same thing, meditation. So, we have this chant we'll offer to you, Jordan and myself, Mr. Landis and myself. And it goes like this. concludes today's class. Remember to, if you would like greater detail, I'd be happy to supply it in the comments section. I hope you found it beneficial. May God bless you and keep you safe. Good day.